Hello, everybody. This is Dan from Spectacle Live with a special for Inside Lowell. Joining me today is Stefanie Londino. She is playing Miss Hannigan in the national tour of Annie, which is coming to Lowell Memorial Auditorium very soon on February 27th. You can get your tickets at lowellauditorium.com. Stefanie, how are you doing today?
Well, hello from Cincinnati.
I was gonna say, I know you're on tour. It looks like a hotel room where you're in Cincinnati. So I'm assuming, did you have a show last night? Show tonight?
Yeah, we've got a full week sit here in Cincy, so we've been here since Monday. Another 5 shows to go before we cruise on. Next week, I think we're in Louisville, Kentucky, so just across the river.
Yeah, you're gonna make your way east to us. So I'm always fascinated with these Broadway tours because they take so much work from a manpower perspective. Like on the venue side, like you guys show up, we're gonna need 40, 50 stage hands to get you guys ready to load in and perform the same night, which is logistically pretty crazy. And you guys are gonna need time to rehearse before we can open the house. Like there's a lot that's packed in that people don't see when they come in and sit down, and the curtain goes up. But from your perspective, like even backing it up way further, like what does it really take, like time wise and people wise, to put a show like Annie on the road?
Oh my gosh, hundreds of thousands of people. If you include every local that hires in each venue, I mean, thousands and thousands of hands touch this show. So our company travels with 61 on the road to run the show day to day, like with us, our in-house. That's cast, crew, musicians, and management. We travel, and 2 dogs and 7 children.
I was going to say that, Annie's a very complicated show because it's not just a regular cast. You've got kids and animals too.
Oh yes, we've got a full smorgasbord coming
Mhm.
for you. Yeah, it's a huge process, and I think that's one of the beautiful things about, theater and creating theater in general is that and then if you include the audience in that, which I very much do, theater doesn't exist without the audience. It's
Sure.
about that magical thing that happens when we meet you. And so we're really creating a beautiful thing together, a really human experience. And I think that's one of the most wonderful parts about making theater.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's something we all missed for a couple years, and now that we've got it back, if we were jaded before, we can't ever be jaded again when it comes to getting in
Yeah,
front of audiences.
a renewed gratitude for the opportunity to tell and share stories. Absolutely, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, and getting back to sort of the scope of this production for you, like, is this like a year-long involvement? If you think from like your first audition through the end of the tour, like how long do you like live in that Annie world?
Yeah. So I auditioned in March and was offered the role very imminently afterwards. And so I knew that I was gonna come to Annie starting in August was
Mhm.
rehearsal. In between, I went out on the Fiddler National Tour for a brief stint, and I got married, and I had a
What?
little summer
Congratulations.
you. And then August came and we started rehearsals in the city. We sat in New York at a studio in New York for a few weeks. And then we moved up to Syracuse where we tacked and opened the show at the Landmark in the beginning of October. We've been on the road since then and we will cruise all the way through June. So it's
Wow.
it's a long time. It's a
Yeah,
long
so it's
process.
like 16 months or so for one of these
Yeah,
national tours. Like it takes a lot of planning. It does not just happen all that night. So, and
very
let's
true. And of course,
yeah, let's
no, the
get
show
in.
was of course for me. Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah, and let's get into Miss Hannigan. So, first question: do you consider her a villain? I know she's billed as a villain on a lot of the sites. I think one of the descriptions I read was disillusioned orphan matron hates children fond of alcoholic beverages. So, do you consider her a villain first off?
Oh, it's such a complicated question. I think people often get distilled down to being a good person or a bad
Mhm.
person. And I think that is a rather flawed way to approach humanity. And as an actor, I'm really interested am interested in the human condition, right? So I think the proof in the pudding is that anybody can become anything under the right set of circumstances. And Miss Hannigan has a horrific set of circumstances. It's the depression. She's
Mhm.
trapped in a government job doing something she absolutely hates with no budget, obviously.
Yep.
And there's nowhere to go. There's no more mobility. There's no, and especially for a woman in that time frame, prohibition has just been repealed at the time, and we know that people turn to the bottle and to turn to addiction in times of extreme stress. So this is a person who's kind of in a maelstrom of horror, and I think it poisons her. It would poison anybody, and we keep getting the feedback over and over, which is exciting. I wanted to tell this story a little differently because I think she gets a bad rap.
Okay. All right.
Gets a bad rap, and I think she's just a woman in a really tough spot. And so I'm excited to bring her to Lowell and see what you all make of her.
Great. Any particular moments that are favorites or things that we should look out for in this production that, Annie's been around for a while? Is there something that or is it a new thing each night? What do you find with this show?
Well, yes, Annie's been around for a while, so everyone's familiar. You know the show, you know the songs. They're in your
Right.
mind, and they'll be in your head afterwards. I promise.
Yeah.
But I think we're bringing something a little shiny and new, a deep dive, and a really human Annie, a really human production that's been spearheaded by Jen Thompson, our incredible director, who was an original Pepper on Broadway,
Oh,
and
wow.
this show is. Oh yeah, this show is very much in her soul,
Mhm.
and now in ours, and to carry her legacy on and to take the mantle up has been kind of an extraordinary. It's a family kind of feeling.
Yeah, and a lot of families are going to be in the audience. This is one of those multi-generational things where it's grandparents, parents, kids. Like we've got so many, people posting on social media that they're bringing their kids, and that they're looking forward to sharing a memory that they had with the next generation. So that's going to be pretty cool when you look out and you see the next generation of theater goers in the audience, and you maybe getting to experience the magic of a live show for the first time. I think we all had that moment or that show where it's like, oh, like a live event, like you get hooked on that. So it's going to be cool.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, absolutely, yes. And it's really got something for everybody. It's like I loved the waterfall of laughs is what I kind of
Mhm.
experienced it as, where like the joke will land, some jokes will land and you'll hear the parents go, and then you'll hear the kids go subsequent.
Yep.
You'll hear the littlest kids at the end who just really want to laugh.
Yep. They're laughing
Uh,
because everyone else is laughing, but
yes,
yeah,
but
it's
there's something for everyone for
but
sure.
that's
It's
part of being that in an audience and that group experience of that feedback that you're talking about. And like you said, that probably makes it a little different each night, and I'll bet each theater and crowd has a different feel to it.
Oh, very much so. And based on where we are in the country, it has a different feel too. Different jokes land different ways.
Hmm.
So I'm excited to see. And this will be out. I'm returning to Lowell. I've
Oh,
played
great.
your before, yeah. In 2019, I came through with A Bronx Tale.
Oh,
And
amazing.
yeah, we had a great experience there. So I'm excited to return to the stage and say give a wave to Lowell.
We're glad to have you back. And we've talked a lot about Annie. I do want to ask you one non-Annie question because I saw in your bio that you got to open for Bon Jovi. So
Yeah.
I have this. Do you have a Bon Jovi story that you can share?
Oh God, yeah. So we opened for I sing when I'm not Miss Hannigan. I sing in several rock bands, one of which is called the Voxies. And in April, we got the call to come open Bon Jovi's show in Charlotte. So we drove through the night and opened for him in Charlotte, and it was an extraordinary 20,000 is
So this is
definitely
an
the.
arena show. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh man, that
yeah. It
must have
was
been
big.
some energy.
It was extraordinary. It was truly extraordinary, and I definitely, in terms of Jersey Girl bingo, I checked off a big box.
Absolutely. Yes, I was gonna say, Bon Jovi and Bruce are, yeah, those definitely the big ones.
I mean, that's yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Yeah, and favorite Bon Jovi song?
Oh, shot through the heart, and you're to blame, baby. You give love a bad name, which is such
Oh.
a Hannigan song.
It's perfect.
Ah,
It's perfect. And we
perfect.
brought it all back to Annie right there. All
Full
right.
circle.
Full circle. So everyone, you can follow Stefanie on Instagram at Stefanie Londino. You're giving us lots of behind the scenes look on the tour, on the cast and the costumes and everything that's going on. So if you want a preview of what's happening, definitely follow Stefanie on Instagram. You should check out StefanieLondino.com for all our other projects, band stuff, future performances. You got a blog out there. So we're going to be seeing you in a couple weeks on February 27th for Annie. Stefanie, thanks so much for joining me today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
It's the Hard Knock Life for us.
One of the most popular musicals of all time is back. See Annie, Broadway's favorite orphan, live on stage in an all-new production, hailed by the Chicago Tribune as one of the best family musicals ever written. Annie is back to spread hope for all the hard knocks life throws your way. So clear away those sorrows and get your tickets to Annie today.
February 27th at Lowell Auditorium. Tickets at lowellauditorium.com.